What is up? What is up? What is up, y'all? I hope that everyone can see me and hear me clearly. We are trying something a little new, and I decided to step outside in order to have some free conversations. And the last time I tried it, it didn't work out so well. We had some issues going on, as we seem to be having issues today. But my wife took a look at my last live stream and she said, "Oh, you didn't take your allergy pill." And I tried to deflect and talk about some other things. And she went back to it. "Yo, you didn't take your allergy pill." I said, "Oh, Amethyst Angel in the building, God's Tomahawk in the building. We just out here conversating, y'all." And I gave her the response that she wanted. Y'all, we've been married 33 years this year. She knows me. Ain't no getting around it. I said, "How did you know?" She said, "Because your eyes were red and they were swollen, looked like they were going to pop out of your head." You started sniffling and your throat started itching and you started coughing. I said, okay, it was that bad. I just decided to step outside and talk to my people. It was that bad. Well, if people know you and know who you are and know what your presentation should be, then, maybe it was that bad, but I decided to come back and improve that situation, take my allergy medication, because there's something out here, y'all. I don't know what it is, but there's some plants, some vegetation, some grass, some trees, something that I am allergic to that has had an effect on me. And I want to be able to just get out here and talk a little bit. I usually only come out here to watch my grandkids run around, just relax a little piece, be at peace with nature and just chill. But I found that in that last test that we did, even though it was kind of awkward and I had a whole allergy attack, I found that it was peaceful. I found solace in it. I found that we were able to have certain communication in the chat that did me good. I hope it did y'all good. And for those of you who are ahead of time, ahead of Pacific Coast time, that are out there enjoying your day, I am thankful that you are here in the midday. My Wi-Fi is not the greatest out here, and as you can hear, the dogs might interrupt what we're trying to do. So let's see if we can have a conversation and continue what we had going on before, because it wasn't problematic, but I thought it was something that needed to be addressed, and I thought it was something that I would bring to y'all because that's something that I'm working through, y'all, as I get into the final edits of this book. The final stages. Country Roads in the building. Urban Southern Cookie here. Thank you all for being here. We talk about this issue of fatherlessness. You can see in the thumbnail, it's the fatherless discussion. But quite frankly, I don't think it's a discussion that happens often enough. And y'all have to forgive me. Let me bring this up while it's here front of mind, because I will certainly forget. But those of you who have followed me for some time know that my cadence is slow. My cadence is delayed. I am a bit pensive when I speak. Some people dig it. Some people hate it. Turn some people off. They be like, "Bro, speak faster. Get it out." Well, that's just not the way that God has given it to me. So if it doesn't resonate with you, then I get it. I understand it. But if it does, I appreciate your support. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you hitting that like button because we battling against that algorithm. But I just want you to know that I'm trying to get these thoughts out, even as I process this information to get this book out for people that I know will never read it. I think it's incredible. But I'm hoping, y'all, that somebody might read it who might pass it on to somebody who needs to read it. You understand what I'm saying? I already see the bugs, y'all. I already see the gnats. I already see the situation. It is what it is. We dealing with it out here. Amethyst Angel says, it's like we're sitting with friends and family at the cookout. Just without the food. Ooh, if I had, listen, I told myself, Amethyst Angel, I said I was never going to eat on camera. I see some people doing that. I saw one person that called himself a Christian blogger, a church blogger. And that's why I said I never want to be in that group. Because I saw a church blogger, vlogger, whatever he calls himself, content creator last night. And he was talking about church issues. He was talking about the community. But that man had a drink. It had a whole lituation right there on camera. I said, bro, this video is sending mixed signals. I don't understand what you're presenting here when you call yourself a church vlogger and you're talking about church issues, and yet we see you presenting something that is so ungodly as you comment on issues that deal with the church. So nah, that ain't it. That ain't the space for me. But y'all pray for your boy, and hopefully we will find our lane in this space. Hopefully that algorithm will get its foot off of our neck and allow us to at least be seen by the people who say they want to see it. Amethyst Angel sent a comment the other day. I went live the other day. Amethyst Angel said, man, I didn't get the notification again. Well, we don't know how to make them notify people who say they want to be notified. It's just what happens when you deal with them people on their platform. But y'all, we're talking about the same issue we were talking about on the last live stream when I came outside to talk to y'all. Fatherlessness. Urban Southern Cookie, I got you back. I got one on you. It's a lit situation. It's a lituation. Yo, I think I can't. I mean, even as I thought about it before I even pushed the live button, I don't think we can talk about this enough. How much this fatherless dilemma, epidemic, if you want to call it that, is affecting our community, affecting our society. It ain't just the community, y'all. And don't think when I talk about fatherlessness, I'm just talking about the blackity blacks, because I'm not. I understand it affects everyone. Is there anybody out there? Let's just put it out there. Is there anybody in the chat that don't think fathers are important to the rearing and upbringing of a child? Don't matter whether it's a daughter or a son. Only two genders. Let's put that out there. We might get struck down just for saying that on them folks' platform, but it's only two. Is there anybody out there who thinks differently? Because we need to know what we're dealing with as we discuss these things. Winding Creek Ranch Doodles in the building says, I got the notification for this. That's why I'm watching. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for your support. We love you to life. And we are glad that you got the notification, because we've gotten reports from so many who said they are not getting it. But we just want to put out good information for the people, and we are glad to have you here in the number. Is there anybody in the chat who thinks that fathers are not important? Winding Creek says it's important because it's God's plan. 100%. I agree. I agree. But then we have to consider, Regular Degular in the building, thank you for being here. We have to consider, Winding Creek, if it is God's plan for our lives, why is it so easy to deviate from the plan of God? Why is it so easy for us to get off track Why is it so easy for us to walk away from certain situations and leave children lacking, male or female, white, black, every color in between? Why is it so easy for certain people to deviate from God's plan and just walk away, to be disobedient from God's plan? Country Roads in the building says, to me, it is the most important. Woo, that's heavy. The most important. The mother will get support and the children will be taken care of and protected. Where are they getting support from? Country Roads? The tax dollars, the taxpayers, the tax base? Where is that support coming from? Says, this is if the father is a good man. Hopefully, he is a godly man. Well, I like where you're going, Country Roads, because maybe that needs to be part of the discussion. Maybe that needs to be part of the topic. It's not in my book. I can tell you that. I didn't include it in there, but maybe that is something worthy of discussion. What if we should consider godliness when we are considering who we mate with? Trying to be politically correct, y'all. I hope y'all can hear me. If everyone can hear me fine and the audio is good, give me a thumbs up. We got the camera connected. We got the mic connected. Everything should be Gucci. But just in case. MJ Henderson says, because everyone don't see the plan of God. Man has gone out on his own agenda. I agree with that. I agree with that. So we're saying in that agreement, MJ Henderson, that in order to fix these issues that are prevalent in the community, prevalent, not just existent, but prevalent. In order to fix these issues, we're going to have to get back to the plan of God. Well, I like that you brought it up. I like that you spoke on it. But I can tell you that there have been brothers out here like myself who has been doing work in the community that are finding it extremely difficult, almost to the point of insurmountable, to get some of these young folks to even pay attention to God, to even get some of these young folks to recognize God. They are so inundated from every media source, whether it be video or audio or text, on every platform from X to Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. They're under attack all day, every day, 24 hours a day through those earbuds in their ears. And don't think that you are alone in this, y'all. I have a son who like to walk around with his beats on, and sometimes I gotta go out of my way to get his attention, and it's frustrating. But you walking around with earphones on, you can't hear me, and I need to be heard in this moment, especially when I'm putting my foot down. My youngest son just turned 18 last month, y'all. My youngest is 18, y'all. We almost there. We getting there. We getting there. Amethyst Angel in the building says, thank you, Gerald, for using correct verbiage. My mother says that you raise cattle and rear children. Woo! Your mama had it right. Your mama had it right. You raise cattle and rear children. She's 88 in April. My God. God bless her. 88. That's a wonderful run, 88. What a beautiful run. What a beautiful life to have a daughter like you in her life. And I know you're doing right, Amethyst Angel. I know you're doing right by her. I ain't even no question in my mind. I know mother is okay with a daughter like you. And we could only hope that if we make it to an 88, that we have a daughter like Amethyst Angel in our life that's going to see about what's going on in our life, Says she's 88 in April, although I still have mother issues with her. And we know that, Amethyst Angel, ain't nobody perfect, ain't no relationship perfect. She's been right about a lot. And sometimes, Amethyst Angel, it takes us a moment to get there. So listen, I just entered the 50 club myself just a couple months ago. And I understand there's still some things I got to work out, still some things that I disagree with, from mother and father, from child rearing, from growing up in the church. There's all kind of issues that we deal with in life. But at a certain age, we come to an understanding. At a certain age, Amethyst Angels, some things become clearer. See, things that were always blurry to us, that were always foggy to us, sometimes they become clearer later on in life. And we say, hey, thank God mama's still here. Got a chance to make it right. Thank God I'm still here. Got a chance to make it right. Got a chance to do right. Got a chance to get right. Got a chance to come into a better understanding of what they meant, mama or daddy. And maybe it wasn't always right. But once we come into an understanding of it, we are able to react to it. Regular Digger says, you're far more optimistic than I am, sir. Salute. Let me put that on screen. I'm sorry. I was just reading and going on, y'all. My mods keep me right most of the time because sometimes I just ramble on and forget the on-screen content. I be looking at the camera and don't be focused. So I apologize. Says you're far more optimistic than I am. I personally believe the community is unsalvageable. Oh, regular. I hate to even read that. That hurts. I can't say that I don't agree with you at times because sometimes I get in my feelings. And if you follow me for some time, you know that one thing I can't stand is someone who dwells in their emotions. I deal in logic, I deal in facts, and I need you to get out of your feelings and come to a true and real understanding of what's going on in order to make good decisions. I think that's the problem that we have in the community, regular. That's the problem. We lack education, so we lack understanding. So when things come up against us, we don't know how to deal with them. So I understand how you can fall into that category where you say, "Hey, I just think it's all bad. All hope is lost. I don't see a way out." And those of us who are out here doing the work, hey, we get in that little funk sometimes. We we have to sit down in that chair and deal with it sometimes. That there are no diplomatic or peaceful solutions, sadly. Well, there are some solutions. They may not be diplomatic, they may not be peaceful, but there are solutions. As I showed in the clip on the last live out here in the open, amongst these plants that drive my eyeballs and my nostrils and my throat crazy. As I came out here last time, I showed a couple clips, and I'm going to show it again just so we have an understanding of what we're talking about and what we're dealing with. We got issues in the community that we got to fix. Notice how I said we got to fix them. Because if you depend on other folks to fix them, it's never going to get fixed. And you got people out here that I see that are advocating on this internet, on them folks' platform, in these YouTube streets, that are essentially telling folks we need to be out here with our hands out. We need to be begging. And listen, begging louder is still begging. I need y'all to understand that. Just because you beg more or beg louder, you're still doing the same thing. You got your hands out and you're begging. I need you to get out here and do the work. I need you to get out here and grind. I need you to take these young people at a younger and younger age and teach them. Sow into them, pour into them, and teach them how to grind, how to work hard, how to go for their dreams. First of all, we got to teach them how to dream. Let's start there. We got to teach them how to dream. Then we got to teach them how to go for their dreams. Yeah, it's an incredible situation, regular degular. I understand it ain't good in the hood. But that don't mean we give up. That don't mean that we throw up our hands and say ain't no help, ain't no chance, ain't no hope. No, we can't do that. That's why we do everything we can, whether it is posting on social media, whether it is making live streams, making videos on a YouTube channel, writing books, making movies, all sorts of things. You got to attack it every way we can. I saw one YouTuber call it the culture war. He said we are in a battle against people who want to control culture. And if we don't take it seriously, like we haven't in the last 4 years, y'all know that Christians, Christians have taken a major L in the last 4 years under the last administration. I don't know if y'all know that or not. Churches have taken an L. And the sad part about it is some of these churches were out here advocating for their own demise, out here advocating for their own L. They were out here losing and cheering it on under the last administration. Wine Creek says, our youngest is a 19-year-old boy. We are right there with you. You know what I'm talking about, Winding Creek. You're getting to the end of it. Robert Robertson said, my youngest, 17 and a half, get ready to graduate high school. Listen, Robert, my 18-year-old is a senior. He ain't graduated yet. He just had an early birthday. And the way it worked out, he will be 18 when he graduates. So I understand where you're at. I understand where you're going. I understand what you're dealing with. You are in good company in this space. MJ Henderson says, that's true. They have no values on life. They go on what others say instead of referring to the word of God, which is our guide. But this generation is far from wanting to learn anything wholesome. I understand where you're coming from, MJ. But there are certain situations that we control, MJ. And listen, I'm here in California. Y'all, this that y'all see around me, this is California. This nice sunny day out here in the Sacramento Valley. And they're passing laws that are taking some of our authority away as parents, such that they can control the lives and the mentality of your children in the schoolhouse. But if you live in another state that is not as liberal as mine, you still control your house. And as each one of us control our houses, we begin to control our communities, communitas. Because my house is controlled and your house is controlled and our neighbor's house is controlled. We can all come together and say we agree on certain things. And on this block, we ain't moving like that. No, y'all not standing out here on the corner on this block. No, y'all not selling this, that, and the third on this block. We coming together. These are things that have to be done in the community in order to make a difference. For those who are invested, and you got to be invested in the community to be invested in the future of these children. There is no way that you can say you are invested in the future, in the livelihood of these kids, without being invested in the surroundings that they grow up in. Amethyst Angel with the 20, thank you for your support. It says, now that I'm a grandparent, my mother's words come out of my mouth. Ain't that funny how that worked, Amethyst? Ain't that funny how that worked? You find yourself saying things that your mama used to say, even though when she said them to you, you hated them with everything in you. It just didn't rub you right, didn't sit right with you. And you find yourself repeating some of that same stuff. Not to the babies, but the grandbabies. I love it. Amethyst Angel says, sometimes beyond my awareness. Yep, you don't even catch it till it's already out there. And you say, oh, I can't even reel it back. Once it's said, you can't even reel it back in. Grandparenting, God's anointed and appointed do-over. Man, I am with you right here, sis. I see you 100%. A gracious and merciful second chance, says this divorcee of 25 years. God is gracious, God is merciful, and we are forever thankful for it. Gives us another chance. My father used to say in his lifetime that the only way to cover up bad paper is with good paper. I find myself saying it often when I talk to these young folks because a lot of them have a lot of bad paper situations. And there are societal issues and socioeconomic issues that contribute to that. Some of these folks got felonies at 16. Well, I was in that position once. Almost had a felony when I was a teenager, but I had a daddy who stood in the gap for me, hired a lawyer for me, helped me in a bad situation get myself out of it. That's why fatherlessness is so important of a topic to discuss. Because I say, there but for the grace of God go I. Had I not had a father, I'd have been in some of the same situations some of these brothers are in. Listen, there's a lawyer out there. Y'all can look him up in the Bay Area. He is my hero for life. I was caught up in a situation as a teenager with a bunch of friends. You know how you get in a situation where they say, hey, you're hanging with the wrong people, you're doing the wrong things, you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. And you get to smelling yourself as a young teenager going through puberty, and you don't understand what the old folks are trying to say. You ain't even half listening because you're so headstrong. You're so defiant. You're so rebellious that you don't want to pay attention. Black leaguer in the building. Single-minded soldier in the house. Our brother, we so glad to have you back, sir. We have missed you when you ain't been around. Let me just say that. Let me put that out there for the people. Says it seems that all stages of my life, God has always put a much needed father figure in my life. That's incredible that you would say that, single-minded soldier. Because I'm glad that you tapped into it, because it allows you to also contrast your situation with other folks who haven't had it. And I wrote a little blurb in my upcoming book about it. Maybe a little paragraph, maybe just a few sentences that said that as I was a teenager and as I matured, I began to understand the difference between myself and my friends who didn't have a father. There's a difference. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care how you cut it. There's a difference. And single-minded soldier, by what you're saying, you understand that difference. You recognize that difference, which allows you to be in a position to advise these young folks who haven't had your circumstance, because you can see the contrast between what they have and what you had, and you can say, I see the difference. I may not have had a father, but I had a father figure. I had somebody in my life that played a role in my life, which allowed me to understand what it was in my circumstance and understand what it would have been had I not had that. And that only comes with maturity. I understand you're not going to get that early on. You're not going to get that you're not even going to appreciate it early on. But as you grow and develop, as our sister Amethyst Angel has with her maternal relationship, you're going to come to understand and be like, boy, you may not have had a father, but you had a father figure, and that's better than nothing. Some of these folks ain't got nothing. Single-minded soldier, they ain't got nothing. And it's something that we deal with out here in the community, trying to work through these things. Regular Degler in Sacktown, Robert Roberson in Northern, bro, I got family out here, y'all. We got Sacktown in the building. We got Northern California in the building with Robert Roberson. Yeah, we out here. We out here on the left coast, the best coast. Stay out the Bay, though, because the Bay is a wreck. The Bay look like a burnt match, y'all. I don't even go to the Bay no more. It is that terrible. Thank you, Single Minded Soldier said he got to dip out. He got some things to do, and we appreciate him chiming in. And there go his baby sister. Y'all, let me tell you something. Let me just put this out here in the atmosphere because I came to know the urban Southern cookie. Let me say that, the urban Southern cookie. I came to know her through her brother, Single Minded Soldier Studios. And he spoke so highly of this woman that it made me a little jealous because I got siblings. I said to myself, if I could just have one of my siblings speak about me the way this brother spoke lovingly about his baby sister, I said, this man loved this woman. Ain't no doubt in my mind. And it was, we weren't even talking on the phone, y'all. It was a text, it was an email. And the way that he expressed himself in that prose on that email let me know that he not only respected this woman, but he loved this woman with everything in him. And I said, yo, if I could just have one of my siblings dig on me like that, I'd be, we Gucci. I don't know that I've made that impact on my siblings. I'm one of 5. We'll see how it works out in the end. But here we have the Urban Southern Cookie chiming in with her support. Thank you, sis. We appreciate you as always. She said, before the 1996 reforms, welfare policies like the man in the house rule discouraged fathers from staying by reduced benefits. Yes, reducing benefits if they lived in a home. Yes, we remember all of that, Urban Southern Cookie. We know, I grew up with that kind of stuff, seeing it in my family. Not in my immediate family, but in my extended family with my aunties and my uncles and my cousins and all the people I like to hang with. Because, see, my father was the only one of 11 children to go to college and graduate college. Only one. He took his family and he moved us to the other side of town. But I was that one, see. I was that one who used to get on my bike and ride for miles to go down there to be with my cousins on the other side of town, to go down to Grandma Bessie's house in the hood. And you see things that you wouldn't see on the other side of town. So I'm familiar with this Urban Southern Cookie. So it's contributing to the rise in single parent households. This is why I study psychology now. And I'm glad you're studying it, sis, because I believe that you are going to contribute so much to this discussion. You are going to be a change agent. I speak it into existence right now. You are going to be a change agent in the community. You are going to make a difference because you have a certain understanding, you have a certain perspective. And based on what I heard from Single Minded Soldier, I know that you are loved. And I only keep saying it because I don't know whether he said it to you, but if he didn't, he messed around and said it to me, and I'm going to say it to you. There's so much work to be done in the community. And that's why I focus. This, y'all, I'm working on my first book, but I have a whole series that is plotted out. And it all, in the first phase, focuses on mentality. Because if we can't change a mind, we can't change the actions. As a man thinketh, so is he. So let's reverse engineer that text. As a man thinketh, so is he. Let's reverse it. He is as he thinketh. Let's flip it. He act that way because that's what's in his head. He does those things because that's what he's thinking. Y'all understand what I'm saying? He is who he is because that's where his mind is. And when you decide to connect with him, D. Blah said, I barely go to the Bay. D. Blah, you in Napa, right? If I remember correctly. Ain't nothing I need in the Bay. And listen, before I even put that out there like that, D. Blah, I would love to go to my favorite Mexican restaurant in San Francisco, La Taqueria, and get some of those carne asada burritos. I've been fiending for them for a long time. I don't need them. I need to drop a few more pounds. I don't need them in my life, but I've been thinking about them for the last couple of years. I won't even go to San Francisco. I don't want to see the crackheads. I don't want to see the homelessness. I don't want to see the foolishness. Y'all see what I look at every day? I'm good. But I do be fiending for those burritos, D Block. Okay, I can't even lie. Our sister Urban Southern Cookie with the continued support says welfare policies are still in favor of single mother household, no matter how many times they reform, just as planned. I agree. I agree, Urban Southern Cookie. But we got to get to a point where we're not dependent upon welfare policies, where welfare don't dictate to us how we move. Why is it that generation after generation, welfare policies dictate how we exist? Urban Southern Cookie. And I know you out there learning. I know you out there got that burning, your kids educated. You listen, you got college educated children. You did it. And let's just be real with each other right now, right here, Urban Southern Cookie. You ain't no more special than I am. Listen, one thing I tell people all the time, I tell them, don't follow in my footsteps. Let's assess your situation from what it is. Your situation ain't mine, but I ain't special, bro. I just came to a realization early on in my life that hard work beats skill when skill don't work hard. I don't know your circumstance, Urban Southern Cookie, but I know that you got some college educated kids. I know that you are college educated. I know that you didn't fall for the okey doke. I know that you are not subject to these welfare policies, even the ones that you speak of. How can we get to a point, Urban Southern Cookie? Because listen, I've taken a lot of heat on them folks' platform for advocating for what I advocate for, even to the Jill Scott national anthem from a few years ago. I opined on it. I made a video on it, and I took so much blowback from the community because they thought I was just supposed to rock out with it. And I said, listen, bro, if you look at Jill Scott as a celebrity, and you're supposed to take her opinion seriously because she's been on stages and she sings songs and writes songs. Why ain't she singing about things that would tell us how to get where she got? Why is she hiding the ball? Why is she not giving up the game? Game should be free. That's why I get on here and do videos like this to just talk it out with y'all and express myself. And I tell you at the end of every video, if we could spread the word, we can get more people involved in the conversation. And that's what it's going to take in order to better our communities. We got to get more people involved. We got to get more people talking about it. We got to get more people expressing their experience so that other people might learn from them. You will find in this upcoming book that I have noted quotes from people that I've interviewed, just gathering information. And I've taken quotes from them and included them about their fatherless experience. Some have went through fatherlessness. Some have been counselors, psychiatrists that have counseled people dealing with fatherlessness. And I've noted those things in the book. Why? Because it's important for us to be able to attach and connect with people who have similar experiences. And you say, hey, maybe I can learn from you. Maybe I can learn simply by knowing what your experience was. So when you have some type of celebrity that you have access to that will tell you, oh, say, can't you see from the blood in the streets? Okay, where are we going with this? Because if you live a certain way, if you apply certain principles to your life, you're not seeing blood in the streets every day. She said, oh, the land doesn't smile on you, colored child. Oh. So you telling the young boys, the young girls, because you are of a certain hue, that you can't make it? Because this land feels a certain way about you and your color, you can't achieve, you can't overcome. And then we look at you on that stage and say, well, how did you overcome? Because you blacker than me or black as me. How did you do it? Flip that thing around, change your message, and stop promoting victimhood. And we've seen this over and over in the community, such that y'all had the first melanated president, the blackety black president, and that man got in office. Like, bro, you the president. You have the ability to make things happen. And you promoted victimhood. That's a choice. That's a decision that you made. That's a message that you wanted to promote. Don't know why. Even years after him being out of office, still don't know why he chose that path, but that is what we got from the blackety black president. You know what it did for the community? You know what it did for these fatherless children? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So let me see if I can connect to this story, y'all. I have rambled long enough. I have talked your ears off long enough. I do want to get back into this little situation, connect with it, and share it with y'all. And maybe we can talk just a little bit more about what is going on in the community. Let's go.
16-year-old is now in custody and facing murder charges in connection with the killing of another teen in Gaston County. Queen City News anchor Robin Kennedy live at the Gaston County Jail. And when you talk about the story, Robin, I just have to pause because we are talking about a teen, and the victim's family says he was just walking to the store to get something from his mom when he was shot and killed.
Yeah, Alicia, a very tragic story here in Gaston County. Police will not tell us if the victim and the suspect knew one another, but the victim's family says the teenagers had disputes in the past. But sadly, this one ended with one teenager dead and another here in the Gaston County Jail. Talise Dawkins will never forget the last words she spoke to her son, 16-year-old Zaquavius Dawkins.
He gave me a kiss. I'll be back because I love you too.
Zaquavius, known as Tank, was a football player at Ashbrook High School.
He was everything, y'all. He was just so uplifting. He was a miracle.
Zaquavius's cousin, Yana Galloway, says Tank had health issues when he was a baby. But when he was cleared to play football, he thought that was his ticket to success.
Y'all, he was so happy. He was happy. He would tell his mama, Mom, I'm going to take us away from here.
Talise says her son, her only child, went to the store to get her some medical supplies Sunday night. And on the way, he was shot and killed near another store on North Chester Street.
And my son was always there no matter what. That was my everything.
On Tuesday, police announced an arrest. The teenager accused of shooting Zaquavius, 16-year-old Sean James Curtis Simpson, is in the Gaston County Jail, charged as an adult with first-degree murder.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a story.
Let me get it to where we see his reaction, because that is what's poignant. Let's see, because things, if you've ever had a little knucklehead boy in your life, you understand what this is. You teach them, they don't listen. You talk to them, they don't listen. You try to take them to church, they don't pay attention. Seems like especially if you're a single parent without a father, seems like you can't reach them. And I know a lot of single mothers find themselves in positions where they're saying, hey, I'm not a man. What can I do? When he got to be 12 years old, he sprouted up like a weed overnight. Now he bigger than me. Now he taller than me. What am I supposed to do? Kenny Cooper in the building. Thank you for being here. And these are the struggles of single motherhood. But see, when he get to that point where he's sprouting up and he bigger than you and he's stronger than you and you feel like you can't handle him and you can't tell him nothing, it's too late. That is not the point of attack. We're trying to address these situations much earlier on to where it never gets to that point. And that was the point I was trying to make in my previous live. Like, y'all, I'm finding out even in my experience, we got to deal with these young folks, these young males specifically, at an earlier phase in life. Frederick Douglass said it is easier to raise up strong children than to repair broken men. And at a certain point, y'all, we get into them in their teenage years when they are already broken, which makes our work exponentially more difficult. We have to figure out a way to get to them early on. And some folks say, well, how early you want to get to them? You want to get to them at 10 years old? You want to get to them at 8 years old? You want to get to them at 5 years? Listen, I want to get to them before they're born. And I don't know if I've even said that on the internet before. That just kind of dropped in my spirit. I want to get to them before they get here. I want to get to the people who bring them forth, because we got to fix those people, because so many people are bringing forth babies in bad situations. And some of y'all say, okay, well, if God didn't want them here, they wouldn't have made it here. There's so many options for a child not to make it, even through the gestation process. I understand what you're saying. I don't agree with all of your opinions, but I hear you. And I know that sometimes we just need to be heard in our argumentation. But if we can get to these people who can make better decisions with their lives, who are bringing forth new lives in bad situations, in situations that Urban Southern Cookie spoke of, where they are subject to governmental policies, they are subject to people who control them in order to feed them, whether it's food stamps or Section 8 or whatever it is, they are using your behaviors or lack thereof in order to control your life. That is not a good thing. And we got to get you to the point where you are not dependent on these policymakers, because they don't mean you no good. We need you to have a little freedom. What does freedom mean? Freedom to make your own decisions, freedom to make your own life choices. But before we give you that freedom, we need to understand that you are worthy of it. You are capable of doing right by it. That you have a level of faith in your life that is going to lead and guide you in the right direction, y'all. We got broken people creating broken people. So when we get out here and we say, oh, we're going to do the work, we're going to do good, we're going to fix the community, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to cam up on this internet and tell you how you can be better. The people that I'm talking to ain't even listening. I'm talking to people that I hope got kids or grandkids that they will convey a message to. Because the people that I'm trying to get the message to ain't listening to me. They're not tuned into a podcast like me. Listen, we look at the algorithm, we look at our demographics, we see all of that stuff as content creators, and I say, yo, I got people my mama's age that are listening to me. I'm like, yo, how is that possible? That I was always raised to respect my elders. I have a certain amount of respect just because you've lived on this earth a certain amount of time. You may not have done it right. You may have got it all wrong, but you survived it. I was taught to have respect for my elders. So when I see in my demographics that elders are listening to something I have to say, It's quite humbling, and I appreciate it. And I thank each and every one of y'all for supporting. I hope you share the videos, share the live, spread the word, and that will help us overcome this algorithm that seems to have its foot on our neck. But we okay. God is providing, and we still good. We still getting our message out, and those who need to hear it, we believe that God is going to put it in front of them so that they can hear it, even if it's you passing it on to somebody else. But we have a young man here, and some people didn't like my perspective because I said, yo, his auntie came out. She talked to the media. She had a certain perspective. She said he was out here doing big boy things and yada, yada, yada. I said, listen, I've been trained in the law. Get this boy his due process. I don't know whether he did it or not. I'm not even in his area. This is just a story that came across my timeline, and I saw people opining on it. I said, oh, I have an opinion on that. So I'm sharing my opinion. Give him his due process before you hang him out there. Auntie, can you not get in front of the cameras? Can you get somewhere and shut your mouth? I told you I had a lawyer in the Bay Area who saved my life as a teen when they tried to stick a felony on me. Douglas Horngrad is his name. Look him up. I think he's still practicing today. Gotta be in his 70s, 80s. This man was doing his thing when I was a kid. And interestingly enough, y'all, when I got admitted to law school, I just felt a certain kind of way about it. I felt some gratitude, and I reached out to him and I told him, man, thank you for the work that you did in my life. I know my father paid you. I know my father hired you. I know it was a business situation, but you did what you needed to do. And here I am decades later saying, thank you. I'm getting ready to go to law school, and it's because of people like you who had influence in my life. You know, that man follows me today on social media. And that's the craziest thing to me. But if you in California, I don't know if he licensed outside the state, but if you find yourself in a situation in California where you need a legal defense for something dumb you or one of your loved ones have done, look up Douglas Horngrad. He has my full endorsement. Kenny Cooper says, whenever they are old enough to start touching the wrong things, even at 1 year old, you start. I agree. Discipline starts as soon as they're old enough to understand it, even before 1 year old. When they try to touch something and you just move their hand and say, nope. You don't have to be crazy aggressive. You just, nope. They should understand discipline such that when they get 15, 16 or so, they don't have these experiences where they've never had discipline in their life. And it's up to us. We are the guardians, y'all. If we are going to get in spaces like this where we can meet and touch and agree virtually on the internet and say we understand each other, we have to be the guardians and say it is up to us to promote these messages to people who need to hear them. It's not just enough for you to understand. If you're not talking to somebody, if you're not spreading it, if you're not helping somebody who needs to hear it, you ain't doing enough. And I know it's easy to feel like some people have said in the chat, like you giving up, like it ain't, there's no chance, bro. Like we outgunned, we outmanned. There's no way to defeat this. I just refuse to believe it. Maybe I'm just built different. Because I'm out here saying, look, if you can help one, and that one can help one, and that one can raise two, as the beneficiary of a message that they got in their childhood, some discipline they got in their childhood, some father guidance that they got in their childhood. What a difference it would make to say, okay, this boy got a little guidance and he got two sons. And because of the guidance that he got, he's able to impart that upon his two sons. Those two sons are able to go out and build families of their own because they had a little taint of guidance. Maybe our efforts can make a difference. What I'm saying is we can't give up. Because when people give up, y'all, you find instances like this.
First-degree murder as an adult. That's as a result of a law change that went into effect in December, which allows teens his age to be charged as an adult in certain crimes. There was a realization that during this proceeding that the gravity was hitting him, a grand jury indictment that could come in the near future, and a moment that hit when a judge told him that he would not be seeing freedom anytime soon.
Court may impose a hold without bond. Court finds sufficient allegations to support the charges. Considering relevant charges, he is ordered held without bond.
This moment is tough to watch, but it was something that...
No, it's not tough to watch for me.
All right. Was it tough to watch for you? Y'all who are out there in the chat, I need you to make yourself known. So we know that everybody ain't went to sleep. We know some people dropped off and had other things to do. Shout out to them. They let us know they was dropping off. Was that hard for you to watch? A 16-year-old being denied bail? Edward Townsend Jr., thank you for being here. Says the village is gone. And today's teens don't want to listen to advice or warnings. I'm 57. And I knew the difference between right and wrong. I was once rebellious, but I had to grow up. Kenny Cooper said, nope, wasn't tough to watch. D Block, wasn't tough to watch. Okay, so we got a certain opinion going on in the chat. Y'all not feeling sorry for this boy. This 16-year-old who went out and allegedly killed another 16-year-old and is facing the consequences of his actions in a court of law. I'm just saying to the auntie, look, don't convict him in the media, ma'am. Relax before you get to talking to these TV cameras. Get a boy his due process. If he did it, he's going to be convicted. Because at 16, he pretty dumb. We know that there's all kind of evidence. And if they're going to convict him amongst a jury of his peers, let him be convicted and let him serve his time. But even saying that, even though I agree with you, Edward and Kenny and D Block, I took some heat from a certain person that said, you know what, I've been rocking with you for this long, but this right here is the deal breaker. I say, you know what? It was in the comments of my last live. I said, you know what? If that's where you are in life, if that's what you feel, then so be it. I'm not going to capitulate to you. I'm not going to change my message. I'm not going to feel no other kind of way to keep you here. If you like what I'm putting down, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, then you rock with me. If you don't, then you're welcome to leave. It's 9 billion people in the world. But at some point, we have to come to some kind of understanding that when you feel extra sorry for people like this, or you go swing to the other side where you want to convict other people like this without due process, I can't connect with you because you are too emotional for the circumstance. You are too emotional for the situation. I need you to disconnect from your emotions and think logically. And if that's not the kind of person you are, maybe you shouldn't be watching because this is not the kind of message that you need to hear. Maybe you need to get to a certain level where you can comprehend what I'm trying to say, not what you want to hear. Thank you, Edward. I appreciate you. But it ain't for everybody, as you know. Love Cav says, in the Bible, it even says, fathers raise your kids, mothers are around to assist. Fathers are necessary. And let me say this, y'all, because I've been on here a while and I've been going for it. We just conversate. When I come out here and do these kind of things, we just gonna chop it up a little piece. I hope y'all don't mind. But in researching this book, one of the things that I found is that bugs out here. Research on fatherlessness is lacking. I mean, tremendously lacking, y'all. There's research on lack of parenting, but it focuses on the mother. Why? I don't know. But one of the main researchers that I came across, a European researcher named Bowlby, Bowlby, a European researcher who did research on childhood attachment. And he's called the father of that area of research. However, when he went to do the research, he wasn't focusing on fathers. He was focusing on mothers. And his research led him to a special understanding of fatherlessness and how it affects kids. He came up with something called an attachment theory. I talk about this in the book, y'all. I'm just giving you a brief overview because I'm finishing up the edits and it's front of mind right now. So he talks about this attachment theory. He came up with several theories about. Well, let me just summarize. His summary is that because of the absence of that existing parent, a child will attach itself to other things. And he focused on the causation of that, saying, well, because the father is not there, it causes that child to attach to other things, creating other problems psychologically, sociologically in that child's life. So these were his conclusions. So he blamed the absence. Tanya Payne in the building. Thank you for being here. We're about to wrap up, Tanya, but I appreciate you coming through. There was one of his proteges, actually, another researcher named Michael Rudder. Michael Rudder deviated, but he built on the foundations that were in place from Bowlby. Bowlby said, because of this absence, kids react in a certain way. And that's what we focus on when we talk about fatherlessness. Listen, the presence of a father is necessary, the presence of a mother and a father. If you don't have it, you are lacking something. Now, that something that you are lacking is dependent upon the child, dependent upon the environment, depending on so many things that you can't just say, oh, father missing, this is going to happen. No, you can't say that. Oh, mother missing, this is going to happen. You can't say that because so many environmental issues have an impact on the situation. E-Bike Mike in the building, thank you for being here. But based on Bowlby's research that I'll talk about a little bit in the book, just a little bit, Bowlby blamed absence. Well, there was a protege of Bowlby who came after him, Michael Rudder. Robert Walden in the building, thank you for being here. And Rudder just died in 2021, not long ago. But understand that this research is 100 years old. Because interestingly, nobody has really focused on fatherlessness in this type of research, which I find amazing, which has led me to have to opine on certain things and stitch things together in my research and say, okay, based on this factor and this factor, I'm going to come to my own conclusions and come up with my own explanations for certain things. Because the research is lacking. But Rudder says this. Although he was a protege to Bowlby that I talk about in the book, I also mentioned Rudder. And Rudder says, I'm going to deviate from Bowlby in that, yes, absence is a factor, but I'm not going to completely blame the mere absence for the outcomes that children experience. He said, this is his challenge to his mentor. He said, what if the absence existed, but the existent circumstance was different? What if the father wasn't there, but the mama wasn't crazy? What if the father wasn't there, but the mama wasn't on the drugs? What if the father wasn't there, but the mother was able to put the kid in a good school? No, it's not so much the absence. Maybe it's the conditioning on top of the absence that is so problematic. This is the importance of science, y'all, scientific research. It was interesting to even look at the work of these gentlemen and come to use it to come to my own conclusions. Our sister our sister Amethyst Angel with the 20 says, what if he grew up being told he's stupid, and worthless? Amethyst. Was Auntie the only one to try to give tough love? If he accepts he's stupid, he won't learn. Sometimes public shame is a very effective tool, her way to say, I told you so. Wow. What if he grew up being told he's stupid and worthless? And that's why these discussions need to be had, and they need to be ongoing, Amethyst Angel, because who told him that? Why did they tell him that? I got so many questions based on what you have posited here. Thank you for your support. Who would tell a child that? Y'all see, we focusing on the kids, but so much goes into shaping these kids. We have to consider these things before we just throw a 16-year-old away and say, oh, he is doomed, put him in prison forever because he killed a kid. What are the circumstances that got him there? Because like Amethyst Angel says, what if he grew up being told he's stupid and worthless? It goes back to that scripture text. We started with that in the beginning of this talk. Edward Townsend Jr. says, good point. I was told that too, but I proved them wrong. And see, Edward, that's something important because people react differently to different circumstances. Some people are going to say, you're going to tell somebody you're stupid and you're worthless. And somebody like an Edward Townsend is going to say, no, I ain't. And I'm going to make it my mission in life to prove to you that I'm not. But everybody ain't like you, Edward. Some people are going to take that information and they're going to react differently, especially if they ain't had a father to show them how to man up and buck up against opposition. They ain't showed you how to stand 10 toes down when everything is coming up against you, when you had a hard day at work, when things are stressful and you struggling to pay bills, but you still come home and you present a strong, manly presentation to your children. If you ain't had a chance to see that, some folks gonna get beat down when they face opposition, and you're gonna tell them that they stupid and they worthless, and they just gonna believe it and say, I must be because that's what my mama said. I must be because that's what my auntie said and my grandmama said. And this angel said, the same people who told Black Americans we're stupid. Many of us bought that lie. Wow. Well, we've always had voices as we study Black history, as I have. We've always had figures, some even born into slavery, that have bucked up against it. That said, you stupid, you worthless, you are blackity black, you ain't no good, you this, that, and the third, you can't be, you ain't nothing but a slave. Well, think about a Booker T. Washington. I think about a Frederick Douglass. I think about those who were born into slavery and still became great men. Make you want to think about it a little piece, right? What was it about them? Study them, read them. and come to your own conclusion and say, what was it about them? Is it something that can be taught? Is it something that we can put a needle in their veins and extract it from their bloodline and pass it around the community and say, hey, y'all all need a piece of this Booker T. Washington. Y'all all need a piece of this Frederick Douglass so that you can be better. Is it in their DNA or is it in their conditioning? E-Bike Mike says slavery is a state of mind. Well, I'll tell you what, E-Bike Mike, as we sit here in 2025, still pondering these issues that have plagued the community for hundreds of years, seem like these young folks are enslaved in the mind by hip hop, rap, media, social media, and all the negative influences that are being pushed upon them. And before I start blaming a 12-year-old child for everything, before I start blaming a 10-year-old child for everything, I'm going to look at those societal circumstances that they are brought up in, that they are raised in, and I'm going to say, how can we fix this and this and this around them in order to better the situation? Because I feel like they are being conditioned to lose. And y'all do with that what you will. You may say, hey, I believe the government this, I believe society that. Okay. Well, once you figure that out, once you come to those conclusions on your own, what you going to do about it? What actions are you going to take? Are we just going to take 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds and throw them in prison forever, charge them as adults and just throw them away? I ain't saying some of them don't need to be locked up. Because when you read some of these cases, you say, bro, you not just a menace to society, you a demon. Yeah, you might be 12, 13, 14 years old, but you are engaged in devilment. You a menace to everybody around you. Edward Townsend Jr. says Jesus is the answer. Well, Edward Townsend Jr. saw a video the other day. And I know people find Jesus in different ways. Saw a video of pastor named Jamal Bryant, who felt some kind of way because some black folks was at the White House. Now, I seem to recall black folks at the White House under Barack Obama, and he didn't have a problem with it. Snoop Dogg said he burned one down in the bathroom at the White House. Didn't nobody have a problem with it. Maybe that's why they didn't have a problem when somebody found Hunter Biden's cocaine allegedly in the White House. But when you have people of a certain ilk that are pushing, Edward Townsend said, Jamal who? Jamal Bryant. I heard someone, another YouTuber, call his church the Stillbirth Baptist Church in Atlanta. Siletta Gilroy in the building. Thank you for being here. You about to get the benediction, but we appreciate your support as usual. Edward Townsend said, never mind. Yeah, see, Edward, that's the issue that we face. It seems like issue after issue, and not only bring them up for points of discussion, things for us to ponder, things for us to consider. Because I know there's not just one solution other than the solution of God through Jesus Christ, as you mentioned, Edward. So I'm with you there. I understand. But we have situations where it has gotten so bad that, listen, a lot of these kids don't know about God. A lot of these kids didn't grow up like we grew up. They didn't grow up with an understanding. They didn't grow up in Sunday school. They didn't grow up singing in the Sunshine Band. They weren't church kids. They haven't had that experience. So where we knew it to be a thing, basically from birth, seemed like they didn't know it at all. So what do you do with that? Where kids don't have any understanding, and we trying to push the message to say, hey, there's one solution. All of these other issues that we point out, and I know it's a myriad of issues. It seems like everywhere you turn, there's a problem and an issue. All of these things can come under subjection with one path, God through Jesus Christ. How do you get them there? They ain't in church. They out on the street. They already taking drugs at 12. E-Bike Mike says, hope you make 1 million subs. Love your podcast. I appreciate you, E-Bike Mike, and thank you so much for your continued support. I rock with you heavy, and I thank you. Soletta Gilroy says, I guess I'll raise my right hand and receive the benediction then. No, we got a couple more minutes, Soletta. You good. I appreciate you. Uh-oh. Amethyst Angel says, no. Thank you for the 10, sis. Thank you for your continued support. Says, no, don't go there. I still have StreamYard. That bishop of perdition is the devil incarnate. All right, we're not going to talk about him, sis. We're not even going to deal with him. And you know what? Why we don't have to deal with him? Because he's just one of many. And I know he talks loud and breathes loud and hoop loud, so he gets a lot of attention, but he's just one of many. And we say, Jesus Christ is the answer. There was a church that I used to go to when I was a young kid. They used to take us over there for different meetings and whatnot. It was called Christ is the Answer. It was a Kojic church. Christ is the answer, y'all. But some of these Negroes who call themselves representing him, sorry, y'all. Some of these Negroes who call themselves representing Christ, they ain't the answer. Christ is the answer, but they ain't. Which just adds a whole nother layer and level to the issues that we got to deal with when we're out here trying to promote something positive in the community. Because a lot of these kids have heard things, have seen things, have known things. It's hard to reach them. That's why I say we need to get to them earlier and earlier. Y'all, there are 12-year-olds out here who are high. They ain't just high, but they high and then they got a gun. They high, they got a gun, they committing crimes. They high, they got a gun, they committing crimes, they selling drugs to other people, they robbing folks, they carjacking, they uneducated. So you're not just dumb, you dumb and high, and you armed. This is what we're trying to fix. This is what we're trying to solve. This is the conundrum that we face. So when I come before y'all and I talk about these things, I'm really trying to put it on your mind. Hoping that we can broaden the conversation and expand the conversation and have an exchange of ideas and come to some kind of understanding. It ain't got to be a consensus. We don't have to agree on everything, but we have to talk about it and talk it out in order to understand that. Broadening the conversation is the better path. We don't want to shut down the conversation. We want to expand it. This is how we get different people from different areas and different experiences to chime in, and we can all take little nuggets from what we hear and what we see and say, hey, maybe I'll try that. Maybe I use that. Oh, it worked for you? You grew up in the hood, but you still got your kid into college. Or you grew up in a middle class, upper class neighborhood, and your kid still crashed out. We can learn from good and bad experiences. And these are things we all need to tap into. Yes, Tanya Payne, some parents want to be the friend. That never works. I don't want to say never, but I haven't seen it work in my life. I haven't seen it work in my experience where being the friend works. I agree, E-Bike Mike. Dialogue is so key in society. We need to talk more and we need to talk through these issues because people are experiencing this stuff every day. And let me just go here just for a little second. We are in a new era in this country where people are going to have to come to an understanding of what is happening politically that is impacting everyone societally. And some changes are going to have to be made, even changes based on what you guys have addressed in the chat. Some people are going to have to recognize what's going on. And some lifestyle changes are going to have to be made in order to make a positive impact on society. And we always want to be positive. We always want to be good at what we're doing. We always want to be doing the right thing. And that comes with our own personal understanding of what the right thing is. Listen, if you don't understand the wrong thing, ain't no way you're going to understand the right thing. So we need to broaden the discussion so you can understand what is going wrong in order to help the rest of us find solutions and figure out what is right. That's where we at. That's what we're dealing with. And I agree with you, E-Bike Mike. Dialogue is so key in society. And that doesn't mean we have to agree on everything, y'all. Listen, I'm going to harken back to what I said in my book research. Dr. Bowlby found one thing of importance. He said, fatherlessness causes children to do a certain thing, to reattach themselves to other things. If that thing is missing, that child will attach to other things. It's called attachment theory. His understudy came behind him, Michael Rudder, and said, I understand what Dr. Bowlby was talking about. I see it a different way based on my studies. Maybe it's not so much that they're attaching themselves to different things. Maybe it's that different things exist in their environment. Maybe we could change the environment. Maybe it's not so much the absence, but the environment that the absence left. These are the simple nuances, y'all, that happen when people come together and have discussions. These are both educated men, both well-renowned researchers who are credible, who are worthy of being noted. That's why I noted them in the book. That's why I referenced them in their research. But we credible too, y'all. Your experience is credible. Your life is credible. Things that you go through make your opinion credible, so that we come to places like this and we share amongst each other and we try to figure these things out. It's always a good thing. So I recommend it. I enjoy it, as a matter of fact. I love having these little discussions where we can get together. I'm going to do it more often because, as you can see, the sun is coming out. Things are changing out here in my area. Spring has already sprung here in Northern California, y'all, and this is what we're doing in this space. So I appreciate everybody rocking out. I appreciate everybody expressing their opinion and adding to the conversation. Siletta says, I appreciate strong men like yourself reaching the young, fatherless boys before they become men is vital. I love the way you put that. She says, reaching the young, fatherless boys before they become men is vital. That's why I harken back to that quote from Frederick Douglass that says, it's easier to raise strong children than repair broken men. And that's how we try to focus on it. But as I posed the question to you before, I'm still on that question. At what point do you start? Because you're not getting into people's, look, we on the outside looking in. You're not getting into people's lives and the strangers' lives with a newborn child. Some single mother who just had a baby and the father is not there. You're not getting into her life with that newborn. She got other stuff she's dealing with. And some would say that it ain't even your responsibility. I would say that it takes a village. And when that dude who had the responsibility rejects that responsibility, maybe it's important for somebody else to step up. And I ain't gonna go into a whole diatribe on the church, but it used to be a time where the church was that communal hub where if things wasn't going right in the neighborhood, things wasn't going right in the city, things wasn't going right in the town, you could always go to the church as a resource. And the church had everything from the school to the food bank to the prayer meeting to the educational system at YPWW and Sunday school, after school programs. We had all these issues and things that were going on in church settings that are no longer there. What do? Something we're going to have to work out amongst ourselves in order to find a fix. Amethyst Angel with the 20. Thank you, sis. We appreciate you for sponsoring this stream today. Says, Gerald, keep doing you on your podcast. To you and the Chopper fam. I love your courageous conversations. The eagle flew today. I choose to invest in and support your ministry. Stay strong in the faith as always. Blessings to you and yours. I appreciate you, sis. Thank you for supporting as always. We rock with you heavy. We appreciate you. Yo, we're going to continue this conversation because there's no way we can get through it in an hour and a half. No, we got to keep on having this conversation in order to make a difference. Not only in our mentality, but we're trying to change our thinking so that we can express these thoughts to people in our circle. I can't reach everybody. You already know what's going on as I fight the algorithm in them folks' space, on them folks' platform. I need to touch you and you and you so that you can touch people in your circle, so that they can touch people in their circle. And that's how we spread the good news. And sometimes, y'all, I'm just going to say it. Sometimes the goodness of Jesus Christ tastes like medicine. So we got to sugarcoat it a little bit in order to get these folks to take their medicine. Sometimes we got to take the message of Jesus Christ and candy coat that thing in subjects like fatherlessness in order to make people receptive so that at the end of the day, we can kind of land the plane on that godly message and say, we need more prayer. They used to do something in my church when I was a kid. They would say, much prayer, much power, some prayer, some power, little prayer, little power, no prayer, no power. And I think we can end it right there. I appreciate y'all rocking out. I appreciate y'all being a part. I appreciate y'all supporting. We got our sponsors of the stream today, our sisters, our faithful sisters who've been rocking out with me for so long and support me and hold your boy up. God knows I need it as I fight against this algorithm. They hold me up, hold me down, however you want to put it. Our sister Amethyst Angel, Urban Southern Cookie, E-Bike Mike, sponsors of the stream today. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for rocking out, for being a part. Y'all, don't forget, you can like the video. It helps us with the algorithm. It helps us with what we're fighting against. You can share the video. Let somebody else know the kind of conversations that we like to have over here and the positivity that we're trying to put out on them folks' platform. Hope you understand what we're trying to do. And we got our sister Amethyst Angel. She'll shoot me an email. If she need to say something on the back end, she'll let me know. She'll send me a video and say, hey, brother, check this out to further your understanding. And I love it because it does further my understanding, such that when I get in front of my own camera, I am more prepared to deal with the issues. I appreciate every one of y'all. I love the fact that you took some time out of your day to rock out with your boy. And we're going to keep this thing going, y'all. The weather is changing. I'm feeling good about it. My allergy pill did not fail me today. I wasn't sniffing and coughing and doing like I was doing on the last one. I'm just out here enjoying the sun and enjoying the conversation. I appreciate y'all being active in the chat. I rock with y'all heavy. And I hope you rock with me in the same way. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you on the next one.